So another type of movement associated with mass wasting is a landslide. And with a landslide, a large amount of material is moving down some sort of failure plane or something in the ground that is allowing a large amount of material to move. And this is causing a huge volume of material to be moved from further uphill to downhill in a rapid fashion. This is one example. This is the Grovert landslide that happened near Grand Teton National Park in 1925. And all of this brown area here was the area where material used to be up here, and then it slid down to the bottom of the hill and it was deposited at the bottom here. So this is the type of movement that could be big enough to wipe out a small town or at least some residential areas when landslides do occur. What was happening here was that there was a layer of sandstone that was sitting on top, and a good sturdy layer of sandstone that's sitting on top of a layer of less stable clay. And then there was a lot of rainfall and snowmelt in this area that contributed to water in the ground here. And then there was some minor shaking associated with an earthquake. And all of this material up here slid down along this plane of weakness associated with the top of this clay bed here and deposited all this new material at the bottom. There used to be a stream flowing through here, but all of this new material essentially created a dam that backed up this stream and created Lower Slide Lake right after this landslide occurred in 1925. This is another example of a landslide. This one is from Alberta, Canada, and it's called the Turtle Mountain landslide of 1905. We can see from this before and after picture, there was a small town there called Frank that was essentially doing some coal mining in this area. Most of the reason most of these people were here was because of the coal mine in this area. And before the landslide, all of this material was here. After the landslide, a huge amount of this material has slid down the side of the mountain and was now forming a pile at the bottom of this mountain. In this case here, a couple of things were going on. This is showing it from a different angle, but we can see this is the area from which all of that material was removed. It's actually on one side, one limb of an anticline here. So all of the rocks here are sloping downward, dipping down into the ground in this direction here. And that was part of the reason that this landslide occurred. Another reason was because the coal seam that was being mined was running through this area here. And as they were removing coal from this area, they were essentially oversteepening all of the rocks that were further up Turtle Mountain behind where the coal seam mining was going on. And for both of those reasons, this giant landslide occurred in 1905, and all of this material here was moved down and deposited here. And you can see once again it had an impact on both what the landscape looks like down here, the terrain looks like down here, as well as how the Crow's Nest River was flowing through this area.